Ohio's dour brick death house looks as much like an industrial building as part of the Lucasville prison. The building's sole purpose is to perform a one-of-a-kind chemical process. It's the place where public employees inject lethal compounds into the arm of a criminal convict sentenced to die. The death machine is being readied for an execution arising out of the brutal 1982 murder of Betty Jane Mottinger. John Spirko was convicted of the crime and is set to die November 15th. The problem is there's a real chance the man was wrongly convicted. Former FBI Director William Sessions put it this way in his plea that Governor Bob Taft grant clemency. Quote, "I believe that John Spirko may very well have been unjustly convicted, and I am convinced that his trial was infected with serious enough defects that we can have no confidence that the jury reached the decision about his guilt and ultimately his death sentence properly." The governor is Ohio's last line of defense against wrongful execution. He's received no help from other responsible officials. Attorney General Jim Petro's every move seems to be a political calculation rather than a push to ensure the right man is on death row. A majority of the parole board has shown haplessness bordering on incompetence. They all know Mr. Spirko's criminal case was plagued with gaps and inconsistencies, but they've ignored them. The parole board's report to the governor offers no practical guidance on whether this execution might be a mistake. All have allowed the death machine to move ahead unimpeded while they look away. Governor Taft can grant clemency and commute the death penalty to life in prison, and that's exactly what he should do. Because no scientific, forensic, or physical evidence links John Spirko with the Mottinger murder. The case was based on handwritten notes of prison interviews conducted by an erratic postal inspector who was the state's star witness. The eyewitness who supposedly placed Mr. Spirko near the crime scene was only 70% sure of his account. Prosecutors said Mr. Spirko had an accomplice. That theory later disintegrated. Another suspect surfaced in the 1990s. The case was referred to federal authorities, but they never investigated if a man had been wrongly convicted. John Spirko had killed before and isn't deserving of much sympathy. Still, a decent people don't impose the death penalty on such meager, feeble evidence. When they do, they too end up with blood on their hands. This is Eddie Roth for the Dayton Daily News editorial board.